extra time.
Hi, it's Norman Kochannek for Extra Time. I'm at the SCG, the Sydney Cricket Ground today, to look at the history of this ground, as well as the COVID-19 expectations of both staff, players and the attendees, and a number of other aspects which will lead into this test series between Australia and India. Firstly, a bit of the history. The ground was actually first used in 1848. It's called the Garrison Grounds. That led into a test series, the first one between Australia and England in 1882. And now, some 172 years later, it's about to host the matches between Australia and India. Firstly, 2 ODIs, followed by 2 T20s through November and December of this year. A further 2 will be played in Canberra at Manica Oval, leading into a third test match here between Australia and India on January 7th to the 11th. Certainly a worthwhile series to watch. Watch all the reports on Extra Time, and your host will be Norman Kochannek and Aparna Saini. And I'm at the Sydney Cricket Ground, standing in front of 2 of the most historically significant stands, not only in Australia but probably the world. Lords and the SCG would be on an equal par with Eden Gardens and Kolkata. The 2 stands we see, in fact, that is the ladies' stand in front of us there, the more oval-looking stand, followed by a footbridge which leads to the main member stand, which was actually the men's pavilion at an earlier stage, where only men were allowed to frequent, with the ladies next door. You can see a gate there in front, which is the Alan Davidson gate. He's actually still alive, which is very interesting. There's gates further up along the stadium which are actually related to Arthur Morris, who has passed away. He actually was the last, he batted with Don Bradman in the last innings prior to Don Bradman's calling it quits. Now this stand will be the entrance for the members during the 2 T20s and the 2 ODIs, which will be taking place in November and December of this year between Australia and India. A bit of history about the ground. It was first established in 1848, which is some 172 years ago, with the army barracks not far away, where they moved to this location for the so-called first true cricket ground. It has a lot of history around the Moore Park region, but in particular the history of not only cricket but even baseball. But it's one of the most historically listed stadiums in the world in terms of cricket. The ground itself, you can see the member stand in the background, you can see the statue of Steve Waugh, and a number of the old features are still in place. There are a number of pieces of memorabilia between the levels as well. Several prints from days gone by stacked away in the rooms in this particular stand. This is in fact the member stand. In fact, the main men's member stand that was never more than only for men. Now obviously that's changed. It's now for both men and women, and has a lot of history, and very, very significant history indeed. With COVID restrictions, there'll be obviously a lot of distance rules being put into place, the 1.5 metre rule, with people situated or seated separately from each other, especially in the areas of the members, which is normally absolutely full. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with the COVID regulations. We're going to move towards the Alan Davidson gates, and in the background you'll see Steve Waugh, the statue, in front of the members' pavilion. Again, this ground was first built in 1848. That's 1848, some 172 years ago, and it's proven to last the test of time as a magnificent ground still to this day. In fact, Virat Kohli and his team won a test series here on their last visit, so it means a lot to them, I'm sure. It will certainly be a ground of significance come January, and well and shortly before with the T20s and ODIs. So stay tuned, and when you'll see more features and reports of grounds around Australia, including this one, the SCG. This is Norman Kochannek with Aparna Saini on Extra Time.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.